Here we go. Another great matchup. A 5th, 6th position matchup of Garrett Rakowski, the Bullet, versus Dan Burk, the Silver Fox. This should be a great matchup here. I'm Nick Dichiria, joined by Will Stuart on the call.
The Silver Not So Fox. Come on now.
I don't know. He's got that little George Clooney vibe about him.
I can see that.
That's reasonable, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not nearly to George Clooney's level, but here we go. It should be a great matchup. This is to play Cody Brunello in the next round here. Should be a great matchup indeed. And Dan Burke, we've been shouting at these players that have not shown up on day 1 or 2, still making the trek over here. So just decided to show up today. I was like, oh, what are you doing here?
Yeah, who are you? Hey, Will Stewart, nice to meet you.
It's an absolute pleasure. You've met Dan Burke before, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I've seen him.
There you go.
Quite a few times.
Now, last time we saw Garrett earlier today was in his match against Alex Spellman in the top 4 winner side. And right now he is just absolutely jazzed up to play an 8-0 to Dan Burke's 1.0. And I think leg number 1 here.
Yeah! That's got to be the new go-to. Yeah!
Guys, don't. All right. Well, Dan Burke's just going to try to save some face on this leg here, but with Garrett already 4 numbers and points up, expect this to go to a quick leg number 2. Still going to be a best of 5 in this bracket here, so that's going to be important to note. Should be some good stuff indeed, guys. And we talk about Garrett, right? I mean, he lost the first leg in a very competitive, I believe he fell just under a 5-5 after getting to the Bulls against Alex Spellman. Leg 2, he dropped into like a mid-4. Leg 3, he lost going second with a 6-0. So he's in good form today.
Yeah, he is. There's no denying that. It's just the better player seemed to have won in that match previously, as Alex Spellman is your king seat holder currently in this bracket.
Now, here's the other thing with Dan Burke that a lot of people really don't know. But him and I actually just had a long discussion over in Rockford about 2 weeks ago. And he was talking about how he's considering taking a big step away from the game here soon.
Really?
Yeah, he did talk about that. He's like, I still enjoy it. I still enjoy the people. But right now, I think I just want to give myself a little mental reset and get some extra time with the family as of late. And you'll see that it's depending on where you're at in your darting career. Sometimes that's step away to focus on the family. I mean, no one's going to blame you for it. But of course, he also still has the drive to play. There's a reason he drove over here, right?
Yeah, I mean, to be quite frank, I get that too from Dan, where I feel it kind of same, like here soon. I don't know if he has kids or not, but here soon the kiddo is going to be a factor for me if I want to stay home a little bit more and be engaged in baseball or what have you. So,
well, you have to either babysit at home or babysit me. I mean, it's really a lose-lose if you're Will Stewart.
I am telling you, there is no denying that one. A lose-lose situation.
And on top of that, I mean, let's be honest. It's expensive to travel around to all these tournaments and stuff like that. And he's very conscious of the fact that he's like, I have to win multiple events just to get there. And if it wasn't for the help of the sponsors, who knows, right? Because, I mean, you can see he has the patches. He looks the part of a pro player because he is one.
And these days, it's very tough to be a dart player because anybody can win at any point.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more there. And Garrett Rakowski going to try to get his foot in there because Dan Burke said, I'm going to go ahead and recover. And that's what we expected from that first leg, right? Okay, Garrett got a big jump. Well, Dan Burke's just going to settle in and try to focus on the next as Garrett's just going to keep doing what Garrett does.
Another doozy.
And to get to this point in the bracket, previous match, Dan Burke had to beat Matt Jenks that we saw on the stream earlier. And then before that had to beat Harold and Casey B. and Chip. So, yeah, it looks like he did have a first-round loss there. And it's just been going on the run in the losers bracket.
And, of course, Dan having a little fun with his naming here. What has he got his name in as on challenge?
Mile long. Mile long
I thought
dart.
it was Mike Long.
Well, they have it typed as mile. Mile long. I just read it as I
Whoopsies,
say
I
it.
didn't mean to lead you on that one, Nick. I definitely thought it was Mike Long. I thought that's what you said. Well, all right.
Guys, I try to be a professional around here. I know you guys know me as the professional, never joke around, no-nonsense commentator.
Yeah, never cursed on stream in his life.
Yeah, they basically call me the Ryan Mooneyham of darts commentary.
Back to the match.
That's my favorite call from him when he does that, especially after I say something crazy and then he does it. And you can see Garrett's going to go ahead and pop the close here on the 20s and then back down to the 19s. And the reason he goes and pad that 19 on last there, again, he wants to make sure Dan never has a 9 mark. Dan can go up here and go trip 18, and he still will be down to 31 points. Of course, he still wants to hit all these trip 18s. Better dart. He's going to try to stack it. And you can see he presses that dart against his face there. It actually is hitting right between his eye and nose over there. Then once it presses, he kind of gets a little hold, locks to that muscle, and just kind of really fires it out there in full speed.
One of those guys that touches his cheek every dart. Same for me. Light touches the cheek every dart.
Well, sometimes touching cheeks, but sometimes touching triples. That's what Dan Burk is doing here. He's throwing a 5-0, but Garrett throwing a 7 and challenging the darts here in full. Dan keeping himself in the match, but this is a tough one that he's facing right now as Garrett's just in great form. Can he get in there? He cannot. You can see that dart kind of pulled away. Now, Garrett gets to start at these 17s with the mark on it. If he gets a first start, that even adds some points going with the trip here. Then he can just run along either to the 15 or 16. He will not go back to 19s unless he misses wide on the first two.
Beautiful first. Over to the 16s for more.
Yeah, and that was a good position on the barrel to stay on the 16 there. Unfortunately, it was a little too good, and the dart got caught up in the same hole, basically. But it does get a good 5 mark in. Dan Burk going to just try to bet a number and hope for a mistake. Got to hope for a lot when your opponent's on a 6-6. Another 7 mark there. Dan Burk keep himself alive. That 1-2 mark on the 17s is what killed him this game. Otherwise, there was really no notes here on what Dan Burk's been doing. You know, I hate to say it, but talk about nice guys. These are both just absolute great sportsmen here.
Top people.
Garrett, obviously known for being one of the most polite, humble human beings that gets a little fiery when he plays, and Dan Burk just really missed their PR, right? He's going, if you put him in a place where he doesn't know a single person, he'll be friends with everyone by the end of it.
Well, a little bit too much to ask for Dan Burk here is Garrett Rakowski putting in a show. 6.33 currently.
It's about getting that first leg and asking the question, and he's going to be thinking, okay, I better start off strong in that next leg here. That's all I really can do. Of course, Garrett will get the start in the next leg with it being alternating starts, though. So even if Dan starts off great, if Garrett just fires how he has been, being for an interesting moment, 6-1-5 for Rakowski as Dan shrugs and then says, wait, it's a best of 3? Dan, you've been playing all these games in the bracket. You should know. And he's smiling. High five up in the air, but Garrett, all business on the board, knowing that he can't let up. I mean, it's not like Dan was really far out in that leg. 7 mark.
You think?
No.
Yeah, 5.
We jinxed. Garrett's going to yell at us. Well, there's your opening if you're Dan Burk. 4 19s and a shot at the 20s here is the play. You want to go ahead and be a little bit more aggressive because Garrett will play you in a point battle all day long. Oh, but he doesn't grab it, so he has to stay down now, not capitalizing on the situation. It doesn't get the close. How does Garrett approach this? This is one of those tricky shots where, like, yeah, you can start the 19s with 3 singles is kind of risky.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Garrett typically not the type to hit 3 singles there, so I'm curious when and where he shoots this. Starts right at the 19. I love it. Love it. That's a confident dart.
Look at this.
Yeah!
Get on the pony and ride. It's a white horse.
It's about to be a gentleman's game here in a second as well. Dan's not going to go quietly into the night here. He's going to go ahead and ruin the 0-0 score line. Can he answer a 9 with a 9? How about a 7? Guys, whenever Will's giggling to himself, I'm
laughing at it.
Yeah! It is good. It is good.
All-time calls. Way better than Boom Goes the Dynamite.
Well, that was a low bar.
And we're about to get a
6 mark from Garrett Rakowski. Tried to follow his 9 with a 9, but a 9 with a 6 still leads him at a 6-0 average right now after only a 3-mark open.
Yeah. Great turnaround here.
If you trips this next start, you pop a single 19. Or Garrett's calling for it too. You saw Garrett call for it. Either a single 19 or a trip 15, you have to get rid of the fact that he's 4 numbers up. 4 numbers up is so detrimental to be behind.
Yeah.
Because if you hit a single 19 and Garrett has a bad turn, you all of a sudden get a shot for a white horse. Point in case. But of course he hits the 19s there. And then pops it there. With 4 numbers, he can take that shot 5 points down. You would never see Garrett close from behind typically unless he has this type of lead.
Ooh, that's a difficult dart.
You can throw into it and hope. Oh, caught the wrong side, though. Now it's even harder. It's pulling even lower. Kisses in the corner pocket. That was an amazingly placed dart there from Dan Burk, but placement only matters when you're ahead. At this point, Garrett Rakowski going to just try to shut her down and move along. Pops the 15. There's the single bull.
Double for the win.
Not quite. He needs 20 more points.
Just a little bit.
But it keeps... Look at this.
You thought it was over, too.
He's like, I don't even know what's happening over here, man. Garrett's smiling about it. 20-point difference. This one is said and done. And Dan Burke going up 3-0 and really to no fault of his own, other than leg 1. Leg 1 was a little rough. The other 2 legs, though, no fault of his own.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Dan had no chance at all there because
wow,
too many wedges open for Garrett. That's what I was meaning by.
Sure.
Yeah, this is over anyways.
No, agreed. But I'm just saying overall, I think the last 2 legs he. Garrett, you need 20 points. Not
you need
19.
20.
That is crazy. Then he trips the 20 to make it better. That's funny stuff there.
What a guy.
Absolutely love that.
What a guy. Garrett Rakowski does best. Dan Burke. He will move on in this bracket to take on Cody Brunello in the next round.